Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to week 4. So, the last week we had problems on Blackboard with Blackboard and our network and certificates and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm granting an extension um, until this coming Sunday to complete, all assignments. Week 1, week 2, week 3, and now week 4. So you will have a week 4 assignment, a short quiz that will be due on Sunday as well. But all quizzes have been extended. You will not be penalized for that, and you have opportunity to complete that. So, and then by next week, I have you all broken up into groups. Um, Actually, yeah. So I have you all broken up into groups, and you guys can work on group projects starting next week. So we'll continue to have weekly quizzes or discussions for the rest of the semester. But I will break you up into groups, and you should be able to see that by the end of the week and get with your group and your topic and go from there. So, week 4, here we go. So, this week we're going to be talking about designing learning experiences and tasks. And so, if you are providing a good learning experience, the experience should come as close as possible to meeting uh, some criteria. And so the learning experience should have the potential to improve motor performance, activities, and skills of the student. The learning experience should provide maximal activity or practice time for all students at the appropriate level of ability. And the learning experience should be appropriate for the experience level for the students. And then finally, the learning experience should have the potential to integrate psychomotor, cognitive, and affective goals of the program. And so, going back to that first criteria, so the learning experience should have the potential to improve the motor performance, activities, and skills of the students. And um, so just engaging students in activity is not enough to qualify to be a good learning experience. And so ask yourself the question, what's the difference between physical education and physical activity? So let's talk about that for just a brief moment. So physical education is where you actually learn a particular skill. So everyone in this course has different levels of physical education that they've encountered, throughout their lifetime. So myself, I grew up, in a traditional physical education system. So a lot of those skills that I learned then, I can still perform them today. So I can remember um, having tumbling. So we had tumbling where we do forward rolls, backward rolls, cartwheels, back handsprings, etc. And those are skills that I can not only still do, but also still teach because of the way they were taught to me. So that's physical education. Now, physical activity. Some of you guys, in your physical education course, may have had physical activity because the instructor or the system probably say, hey, you know what, just roll those balls out and let them play. So that would be activity. So, but our goal is to teach, an individual skill, in this course. And so all these chapters are building up to you being able to lay out a lesson plan in your group and teach a skill. So, if, when you guys get a sport, so if let's say your sport is golf, your skill may be holding the club. How do I hold a golf club? Or how do I complete a swing? You know, with a golf club. And so those are the things that you're considering, from a physical education standpoint. So for those of you who have taken, skills courses here at the college, if you've had, myself for tennis or Coach Lowe for badminton or weight training, then you've learned a skill associated with a sport. And that skill, you can enhance that skill, by continuing to practice. And so that's why the learning experience, should have the potential to improve motor performance, and skills of that particular activity. So the second criteria is learning experience must provide a maximal activity or practice time for all students at the appropriate level of ability. And so many organizational formats, relays, low organization games do not provide maximum activity. So when we think about that, you want to have, if you're teaching a skill, like, again, I'm going to use the golf swing today. You want to have maximum time. So you don't want to have a line of students taking one swing. You would rather have each student have a club where they can take multiple swings to enhance, their physical activity and their motor learning. And so that would give them an opportunity to have maximum time, as opposed to having, dead time, activity and then more dead time, if that makes sense. So the third criteria is learning experience should be appropriate for all experience levels. So, in teaching an individual skill, a tennis swing, a golf swing, some people are going to advance faster. Some people already, may know how to swing. You don't want to have an activity where the folks that already know how to swing are playing tennis against the folks that don't know how to swing. It's not going to be fun. They're not going to learn at the same level, and then they may get frustrated and be done with the activity altogether from a mental standpoint. So you want to create activities that will allow them to experience the sport at their level. So if all they can do is hold the club, then hey, we're going to hold the club and we're just going to putt if we're playing golf. Or we're going to hold the racket and we're just going to try and return the ball, from one side of the court to the next. And that gives them an opportunity to enhance their skill, as they go and work at their particular level. The third criteria, the learning experience should have the potential to integrate, psychomotor, which would be both motor and physical abilities, cognitive and affective goals, into the program. So rich learning experiences engage the students in all domains. So cognitive, the thinking phase of motor activity, and then you have affective, which is how they feel about it. So again, like we talked about a second ago, you want to make sure that the students feel that they're enjoying the activity. So it is important that they feel good about it so they can continue to do it. So, and then of course, developing the psychomotor component where they can physically do the skill, and then rolling it all up together with all three domains psychomotor, cognitive affective and psychomotor domains, rolling it all together so they can perform the skill. They're not thinking about it as much, and they feel great about it. So those three things, are very important. So, so this week you guys are going to really dive into designing the movement task, and and incorporating those four criteria, and then you'll have a short 10-question quiz for week 4. So that's all I have for you today. So happy learning. And if you have any questions or issues, then don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. So again, you have an extension on previous assignments because of our technical difficulties. And then you also have a quiz this week as well. So lucky you. And I'm not penalizing anybody for late assignments. So that's all I have. Have a great week.